There is no denying that the Apple Vision Pro is an incredible piece of spatial computing hardware, but at over £3,000, it's simply out of the reach of 99% of people. But what if I was to tell you that there is a way to get spatial computing of a similar level for around 6 times less? I am, of course, talking about this guy. This is the Meta Quest 3. With recent updates by Meta, we are getting dangerously close to full spatial computing environments for a sixth of the price. So today we're going to take a look at 2 main methods that we can achieve a similar sort of experience through both Android apps and one particular very special Meta Quest app. I guess I probably should preface this video by saying, though the Meta Quest 3 is good, it is nowhere near the kind of quality that you would get from the Apple Vision Pro. The pass-through simply isn't there. But in terms of actual usability and being able to use a headset in your daily life for the majority of your workflow and apps, it's becoming more and more possible. So, as I mentioned, there are 2 main methods that we can take to getting a really nice spatial computing experience. The first one is going to cost you nothing, and that's the one we'll talk about now. The first method is actually using the Aurora Store. This is a third-party Play Store, which is going to allow us to download a massive range of Android apps and use them directly within the Meta Quest headset. There are a few prefaces here that you will need a developer account and you will need to set that up, as well as configuring SideQuest. If you haven't done this already, then it's kind of a little bit too in-depth for this video. If you want to see a video on that, let me know in the comments section down below and I'll be sure to do it. But once that's set up, you can simply take the Aurora APK, which is in the description down below as well, and you can sideload that onto your Quest headset. And then you're basically ready to go. In your application screen, you can go to your unknown sources and find the Aurora Store right there. You'll probably notice a glaring omission of quite a few apps, for example Spotify and a few others. The main reason for that is they use Google Play services, and that's something that the Meta Quest right now simply doesn't support, so those apps are just not available right now. So straight away you can already see that we can start to pick up apps, download them and use them as if they are just large tablets and phones floating in our space. But with a recent update to Meta's OS, we can actually take these applications and undock them from the dock in front of us, placing them anywhere in our space. This is an experimental feature of version, I think, 97. If I'm wrong, I'll throw it up on screen somewhere. But basically we can take these apps, pull them off and just place them and anchor them anywhere in our room. And the visual anchoring is actually scarily good. It uses the room scanning features that the Quest 3 already has to be able to anchor things a lot better than you normally would. So for example, I have on a wall here my Spotify setup. Behind me I've got my emails, and on this wall I've got a TikTok feed so that I can always be distracted while I'm at work watching TikToks instead of actually doing my work. Okay, so we know that we can take Android apps and start to use them within the Quest headset. This is great for things like Twitch and for other applications such as Word, PowerPoint and Excel. But what if we want to use something like Spotify or maybe Netflix or Amazon Prime Video? These are apps that aren't currently available within the Aurora Store because they use that aforementioned Google APIs. Well, that is where the Meta browser comes in, because realistically, a lot of the apps that you're probably using right now are just web applications. So we can navigate to Spotify's web player or Discord's web app and simply anchor those to our space as well. You can have as many tabs open as you need within the Oculus browser and just place them around your space. And it's really, really good. Like, I'm finding myself using Spotify on a wall next to me so that I can always see what's playing, and I can easily change it without having to navigate away from my work in order to do so. But what if I want to control my computer? That's something that the Apple Vision Pro does really, really well. You just look at your Mac screen and it starts emulating it. Well, we have a similar method that's been in the Meta OS for a little while, and that's called Remote Desktop. Realistically, you're just downloading the Remote Desktop app from the description down below, which is from Meta's website. Heading into the Remote Desktop app, we select our computer, and pop, it's now a window. And this window, again, can be taken and anchored anywhere in our space. This is further enhanced by using a keyboard and a mouse, which are really easy to set up in the Bluetooth settings. So you have complete control over your desktop computer and a range of apps around you. It is really, really slick, really smooth, and actually one of my favourite ways to work right now, just because of how integrated it all feels. Before we talk about the second method though, I do just want to say that if this is the first time that you're seeing my face on your screen, then one, lucky you. And two, go down there, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, so you get notified every time I upload. But what if you don't want to go through the faff of setting up developer mode? You don't want to have to try and sift through a range of apps to find the ones that are going to work on the Meta Quest. Well, there's actually an app for that right now called the Spatial app. If you love what Apple have done with their operating system and how everything looks and feels, then the Spatial app is well worth checking out. It's $7.99 right now and is in App Lab, so it's kind of still in development, so things aren't going to be perfect. You might find a crash or a bug here and there, but it is incredibly impressive what the developers have done. Once you've purchased and downloaded the app, you'll jump straight in and you'll just see the world around you in your pass-through mode. You'll see a pretty sleek looking Vision OS. Of course, this hasn't actually changed the operating system on your Meta headset, it's just emulating it through an app. And you'll see all of the different apps that we can use here. There's loads already integrated and set up, like Netflix, Spotify, Discord, Slack. All of these are simply just web apps, like we talked about before. But what they've done here is they've integrated these web apps straight into the application. So we're not going to see that top bar anymore, and everything feels just a lot more sleek and put together. Alongside all of these web apps as well, we have things called widgets, which are really nice little fun things to have in your space. For example, I could anchor a clock directly behind me on top of my monitor, so while I'm working, I can glance upwards to see the time. There are some remote desktop functionality here as well, through both the Google Chrome store and as well their own application, but I found it to be slow, pretty unresponsive, and just not a great experience to work with. So if you're going to be using a remote desktop a lot, I would highly recommend going down the first method of either using the Oculus browser to throw some web apps around, or downloading the Aurora store and using all of that. However, if you're just wanting an easy way to be able to watch some really immersive content through Amazon Prime Video, set up your Spotify, do a little bit of emailing and web browsing through a keyboard and mouse, then the Spatial app may well be the way to do it. So there we have it, guys. That is two methods that you can take to be able to take your Meta Quest 3, which costs you just £500, and get an incredibly similar experience to something like the Apple Vision Pro, which is over £3,000. Of course, the quality of the pass-through isn't going to be as good, you aren't going to have the eye tracking, but honestly, after using it for a couple of months, I really don't miss it, and I actually think that this headset is probably one of the best purchases you can make right now in terms of augmented, virtual and mixed reality. So why don't you guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think of both of these methods. Do you prefer one over the other? Do you enjoy working in a mixed reality or spatial computing environment? While you're down there as well, get subscribed, hit that like button, and also share this with your friends and family, because it really does help me out a ton. Anyway guys, my name's been Robert, this has been Bite Size Clue, and I will catch you in the next one.